All right, guys, what's going on? It's your boy Tyler Gates, aka TAG Lot 205. Plenty to unpack from this weekend. Obviously, we know what happened overseas with Kansas State and Iowa State. The quarterback Avery Johnson back home, but reports coming out of Ireland that his father and his other son allegedly got into an altercation with Avery's brother traveling abroad. It's a whole situation. We're going to get into that. Obviously, it's an incident that's drawing attention back to Manhattan, especially with the Wildcats preparing to kick off their season next week against a very, very, very difficult team coming up. And speaking of family names making headlines down in Tampa, rookie defensive back Shilo Sanders was ejected from the game, the Buccaneers game versus the Bills, for throwing a punch at Zach Davidson. The move cost him a chance to finish out possibly valuable reps, and now it raised the question, will he be dealt with by way of release? Speaking of drama, though, the third thing we're going to get into is recap of week 0, the stats, the scores, what they could have done better. Let's break it all down and let's talk about what it means moving forward. All right, so we know yesterday the Kansas State versus Iowa State game that took place in Ireland, 21-21 was the score of that game. Avery Johnson, he had what some call a startup game, right? I don't think he, by any means necessary, is a Heisman candidate. A lot of people did say that he could be a Heisman candidate, but right now it doesn't show that. And it's especially with your family off the field. Obviously, we know his dad and his other son, his eldest son, actually, I believe, got into an altercation post game about that L, and it looks like they took that L very serious. So uh, I, I I don't know really what went into it. I mean, I could probably figure out, but we're gonna see how the media handles that. We're gonna see if the police get involved, or I don't think that's gonna happen. But witnesses and what the video recap basically captured was a confrontation. There were no arrests made, but of course you want to deal with stuff in the proper manner. Aside from his father, though, Johnson I think had a good game. 273 yards, 2 touchdowns, and rushed for an additional touchdown as well. So I like everything that he did in the game. Obviously, that big fourth down decision is probably what prompted that altercation. And you can't put everything on Avery Johnson. You're going to have to put something on the coaching staff as well. I do believe that K-State is going to bounce back. I had them winning, if you know, on my Instagram. Tyler A's college game day predictions are back. So is my Sunday pick'em. So go look at that when you get a chance. I do feel like when time comes, K-State is going to be ready. They're going to be ready for a Wisconsin. They're going to be ready for, those teams that they have to face. They're going to be ready for a Texas Tech. They're going to be ready for Iowa State again, or Iowa if they have to meet them. They're going to be ready for these big opportunities. And that's not to say that they're going to make the college football playoff, because I don't think they're going to, but it would be a surprise. I mean, obviously, Boise State, we know what they did with Ashton Jeanty last year, making the college football playoff, excuse me. Arizona State being a shocker, too, with Sam Levitt at the quarterback position. He's slated to have a good season. Obviously, they have him going in the first round to the Los Angeles Rams, a couple teams that need quarterbacks, maybe the Saints even. You could even look at the Buccaneers. Could they use a quarterback for the future if Baker Mayfield continues to age and get older, Is Kyle Trask there? So you have to look at these things from a perspective of, will this quarterback continue this level of play? I mean, obviously he's going to have some down games, but we have to see how he's going to manage a loss. We're going to see how he's going to manage wins. Will he be too high? Will he be too low? And speaking of high and speaking of lows, I want to get into the Sanders here. Not Shedeur, Shallow. I feel like Shedeur Sanders should have a place on the 53-man roster for the Browns, but we're talking about Shallow right now. Getting ejected for throwing a punch at Zach Harrison, the Bills tight end. I don't think it was warranted. I did see the video. We understand that the Sanders name means a lot in football, and they're going to try to come after you, especially when you are a legacy of prime time. When you are, and we have that much drama coming with you to the NFL, players are going to try to come after you. We've seen that on many occasions with a Shedeur Sanders so far. We have seen that now with Shallow, so don't expect it to stop. The incident was it it was very, very uncalled for by the Bills rookie tight end. Uncalled for. I saw no fault from Shilo Sanders. Yes, you fight back, but understand who you are. Understand who your dad is. Understand that the NFL sometimes is getting after you. You know what I mean? And the roster spot is not promised for him. Even though I feel like he should have a spot on the Buccaneers roster, and I believe that he is better than some of those guys on the rookie minicamp. I believe that he is probably better than at least two of the guys on the main roster right now playing defensive back positions. And that's not to throw any shade at them, but he did likely diminish his chances of impressing coaches, impressing the GM, impressing Todd Bowles, and the rest of the crew to have a spot on this 53-man roster. Now, I will say, perfect timing. It was really crucial timing. No pun intended, but it was crucial timing because now the Buccaneers have a decision to make, especially with cuts already beginning. The Falcons made their cuts, cut about 12 players. One of them, well, the most notable name is Ben DiNucci. If you know him, Cowboys quarterback, third stringer is what he's most known for. I do believe Shilo will have a place on the Buccaneers roster. Don't get too caught up in the rumors. Don't get too caught up in the hype of what he's going to do. He's going to have a spot. And speaking of wild and speaking of chaotic, let's get into this week 0 recap. Obviously, we know that Kansas State fell 24-21 to Iowa State in a tightly contested opener, played in Dublin, Ireland. So there will always be two teams in college football that always plays in Ireland every year or play overseas every year to start off. The week 0, the return week, whatever you want to call it, because week 1 officially starts next week. But these are just for the, no disrespect to lower level teams, right? So despite the loss, like I said earlier, Avery Johnson, 21 for 30, 273, 2 passing touchdowns, plus a rushing touchdown. He did everything that he was supposed to do. No interceptions. He literally did everything he was supposed to do except convert that 4th down play, which prompted the altercation. Now, despite on the field, despite on the off the field, despite Kansas State losing this game, they're not going away. Fresno State, I mean, it's Fresno State. You know what I mean? I'm not too worried, or I'm not going to get overhyped about them because it's Fresno State. They're more known for their basketball than their football, right? You have a lot of teams that can make noise in college football this season. Obviously, you guys know I'm a Georgia fan. Go Dogs. Alabama, they have some big questions. I'm actually going to drop my questions for the top 4 teams in my opinion. Georgia, Ohio State, Alabama, and Texas. I have 4 major questions that I would like for you guys to answer. Or I'm going to do a video and answer those myself if you would like me to, give my opinion on those questions that I have delivered for you and I have made. But in the early moments of the college football season, don't let anything go. Don't let it overhype your head about Kansas State and, the whole off the field drama and Iowa State scraping by with the win, literally scraping by. I'll say this to conclude. There will be more upsets this year. There will be way more upsets this year. I feel as if college football is not a place to determine who's going to win a game. College football will always be unpredictable. Unlike the NFL, unlike the NBA sometimes, college football is the most unpredictable sport. It is. You have teams that come in, these lower level teams who sometimes get paid to lose, and they use a Uno card and reverse it, and they flip the script. They come in there and they win by either a field goal or a touchdown. Sometimes it's even by 2 or 3 touchdowns. But that's the upset factor. I feel like this season we're going to see a lot more upsets than previous years. I definitely feel like it's going to happen. Not to my Bulldogs, though. Not to us. But every other team, It's on upset watch. So just keep a watchful eye on that. Like I said, college football, we are here. We are back. The NFL is going to come back soon. I am doing each division and their recap coming soon. That will be a large video, so look out for that. And we are on the road. We are on the road to the Natty. We are on the road to the Super Bowl. When week 1 gets here, September 5th, that's when it officially starts. Preseason, we obviously know cuts. Pay attention to that. Sam Howell just got traded to the Eagles an hour ago. The Vikings, obviously, he wasn't that veteran that they wanted, right? With JJ McCarthy starting, and Carson Wentz is now in that room. Just a little veteran leadership. He's not going to win a starting job or anything because JJ McCarthy is there. He's the quarterback of the future. We get that. Sam Howell, Carson Wentz, basically the same player to me. It doesn't matter. Long story short is I hope the Vikings actually find their quarterback. And the Eagles, use Sam Howell well, please. Use Sam Howell well. I understand you like Tanner McKee, but Sam Howell, to me, when he got drafted to the Commanders, I thought he was going to be such a great piece. But at the same time, guys, we have to analyze every move that Howie Roseman makes is a good move. It is. Won't be surprised if he turns Sam Howell into a Pro Bowler or something. Won't be surprised. But they got Jalen Hurts, so hey. But we never know. Subscribe. Keep commenting. I am very, very thankful for you guys' likes, comments, follows, even. So continue to, like I said, comment on these videos. Tell me what you guys want, and I will try my hardest to get those out for you. College football's back, and we are going to learn this season about all the new rules, how they're going to get implemented. But most of all, what we are going to learn, and I'm going to harp back on this, most of all, what we're going to learn is the pedigree of some of these teams. They had all offseason transfers, National Signing Day to get right, to go win a national championship, and not let Ohio State, not let Michigan, not let Alabama, not let Georgia, not let Texas run all over them. Those are the top teams. If you can eliminate the top teams, you're looking pretty nice going into the college football playoffs. If you are a smaller school and you play one of these top tier teams, just know that at the end of the day, you must beat one of them. You're going to have to at least beat one of them or two of them. At least one or two. And Georgia is going to be the toughest because we're coming for revenge for what happened last year at Alabama, what happened last year when we lost to Notre Dame. So just keep that in your mind. What Kirby Smart has not done. He hasn't been in the media. That should scare a lot of people. A couple of execs said that scares us, right? A couple of head coaches said we don't know what Georgia's doing. We don't know how many transfers they got because they didn't say anything. They kept everything in-house. Not normal. Not normal for them. They don't run like that. But now, it is going to be Georgia, Bama, Texas, Ohio State. That's the tier 1 of college football. If you can beat them, you can beat anybody. Literally anybody.